confession. The first thing that I want to ask you about is, obviously this was done a few years ago. So talk a bit about the process, meaning when he first came to you, was black and white film something that you wanted to do, and moreover, were you in approval of the sort of role that he had for you? Because I can't imagine you jumping out of a garbage can and every actor signs on for it.
Well, first of all, black and white back then was a rite of passage for budding filmmakers. So, of course, you expected to do a fair number of them. And when you hear black and white back then, you would expect there to be a little teething process. Like, if they're still shooting black and white, they're probably still learning. Young boy. But he turned out to be a wonderful, imaginative filmmaker from Japan who claimed right out of the gate that he didn't particularly like films. He didn't watch them. He was all about music videos and photography. That was his thing. So, needless to say, he's no longer making movies. But I wound up making 2 movies with him, both very original, very creative, very odd, bizarre, like Confession. And I miss him. I would love to just out of the blue one day just for him to say, guess what? I woke up and decided to make another movie.
One of the things that I thought about when I was watching that film was 12 minutes or 13 minutes seemed on the mark, but yet it seemed like something was missing. Was it originally supposed to be a longer film when they started talking to you about doing it? Was it longer intentionally?
No. They had a very good crew, again, kind of a nascent in the film business, but they were pretty spot on. And with film, shooting real film, you can't waste a lot of time, you can't waste a lot of footage. So they got it right. The second film was video, so that's a forever. But with this, they had to, so they did. They got to it, and everything went pretty swimmingly.
Now, when I look at your character, there's 2 different ways of looking at it. Part of me looks at you and thinks to myself, okay, he's coming out of a garbage can, he's homeless, he hasn't been fed, he's obviously dysfunctional, he's obviously, well, we see what happens.
Yes.
But on the opposite side of the fence, I looked at that character thinking to myself, is he walking around, meaning your character walking around, wanting to be the personification of the gentleman that's trying to assist you? So when they were talking to you about playing that out, what advice did they give you? Which version, what were they looking for within that character? And did you follow their lead, or did you spice it up a bit?
No lead, no guidance, no. Just major language barrier, the works. Just script, which was bare bones, and use the actor. That's your job to fill in the blanks. So you just go for it. I just embraced the character. Didn't bathe for a week or so, and and I tell you, that alone just really takes hold of the character. You ride the subway at 8 o'clock in the morning while everybody's all dressed up in Manhattan going to work, and you're there like a bum. You really do feel like a bum, and it hits your psyche a little bit. You do feel low, very low. And I was glad when we were done, but it's invaluable for what that character was going for.
Well, can you tell us a bit about, as an actor, of course, when somebody is doing a bare bones anything, they're coming to you and saying, okay, I've got this film project, and here you are as an actor, and I imagine most of the time you're used to, here's your lines, do this, do this. So all of a sudden somebody gives you all that creative freedom. Mm-hmm. How far did you go with it, and did you appreciate that, or is it more uncomfortable for you?
Well, that's the point, yeah. I mean, nobody is forcing you, nobody is telling you anything, hopefully you realize very quickly in an acting career, don't wait for people to spoon feed you. Figure it out. Bring something to the table, or else you're not necessary. Go the extra mile and be uncomfortable. Be filthy, whatever it takes. But yeah, that's your job to go there and to do that and to come ready to roll. And directors, good directors, they're just delighted when you show up like that, and they don't have to, as they say, when, most directors, it's lovely when you're Clint Eastwood and all, everybody strokes you a little bit and tells you how great you are, but most directors, if they're not saying anything to you, that means you're doing just fine. So shut up and keep doing your job.
I guess I want to ask about that, the process again. Most of you who are watching this interview don't know this, but I have the good fortune in having cast him, and I know this. Every time he comes to set, he literally, with every take, goes right back to the same place at the very beginning of the take. He goes right back to it over and over and over again. So, as it relates to this film, from start to finish, how long did it take in terms of filming? And tell actors, since you are talking to actors, What's one big tip you can give them about getting right back into that moment? Because I imagine how hard that is. You're shooting something, they say cut, you gotta go right back to that place. So how do you do that?
Don't leave the moment. It's what I call simmering. You know, obviously, you don't, well, some people do like to go ultra method and stay in it and never leave character. I like to get along and be a little easygoing about it, but never abandon the character. You know, ideally don't start Facebooking them. I've seen actors, you know, some make a pretty good living at it. They immediately start chiming in and Instagramming and this and that, or chatting away, and they're being flippant about things, and then they can't deliver on that big emotional scene. They're not ready. So personally, I mean, on the film I did with our cameraman here, they called me Elizabeth Taylor a couple times because in the middle of these big scenes, you know, they said, "Where's your trailer, Liz?" But, you know, I would sequester myself and say, you know, out of the loop, but I had a job to do, and it's unpleasant, but you got to stay in that mindset. Don't abandon it. Don't worry about it. Don't be a pain in the ass, but don't worry too much about it being entertaining or well liked. Keep it sharp. Keep it on the front burner of it, right?
So I'm curious to ask, obviously, to those of you that may not know, I've told you repeatedly we should burn this movie and sell it, etc. So we're curious to find out after the film was done, did it do the circuit? How well received was the movie?
Honestly, he did nothing with it. I think this is the first time this has been seen with an audience. I mean, he sent it to me, moved back to Japan, and you know, that was it. I think he came back, and then we did another movie. And then he went back to Japan again, but he's just coming and going. It's something that he does not need to do. He doesn't need to do the circuit. He was not, he was damn good at it, damn imaginative, but he did not love the business, the industry. He did not need to continue with it. And last I heard, he's on to better things in the photography world, and advertising and all that. That's his true following, his true calling, rather. Which is too bad, because he really had, and his other film was quite good, and to the next level, but in color, so ineligible for today. But yeah, I would love for him to chime back in and do something else.
Okay, so two final questions. The first of which is, of course, I want to ask about, so this particular role, when you're preparing to, well, how do you prepare to be a bum, so to speak? Do you know what I mean? I know you talked about going on the subway, of course, but being an actor doesn't just have everything to do with how you present yourself or how you dress or whatever have you. So where did you have to go, or did you do any mental preparation ahead of time? I think technique is important to talk about when it comes to things like this, because it's black and white, obviously. And then the second piggyback question to that is, do you feel that people will embrace such a thing, meaning black and white? Is there room for black and white films and silent films in this case now in 2019?
Well, to the point, and you know, thanks to the audience for a lovely reaction. You know, yeah, some films are better told in black and white. Some photographs are better seen in black and white. And you know, you look at why our grandparents and parents, everybody looks so damn smashing in these old photos. You know, as I was talking to one of our directors here earlier, you only get one or two of those in your lifetime, but they are just the most heightened version of yourself. You just will never look that fantastic again. You know, they're perfectly lit, perfectly photographed, and that's your shot, and that's who you are at your best. And we don't have that so much anymore. Everybody just click, 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 and you know, they're all kind of throwaways. There's nothing sensational about them. So. There's something about black and white where it brings so much more to the table. It almost limits the senses, so you focus on what's truly important.
So I guess I should ask, because you are an actor with 100 different things I assume going on, so tell your audience, what's up next for you? What do you have going on?
Gosh, I am in the middle of a sort of another murder thing, a horror piece called Monster Mash, where I'm playing 3 different characters. We are filming on film, another one on film, which almost never happens nowadays. You know, Confession was a while back, but this is a true blue a fellow named Richard Cherasi. He just will not shoot on anything else. As he says, while everybody else is buying the latest Red camera, whatever, I have what I need and I put the money towards film stock. And you know, he's a major, major horror guy, smart, character-driven horror. All of his effects are 100% real, no CGI, and he's true blue about that. He just will do it proper, old school, and the results speak for themselves. And also a pilot, a television pilot starring Greg Malati from Mary Hartman fame
Oh my
from
God.
way back in the day. Yeah. That is going way back.
Yes.
I saw Greg at the Cherry Lane Theater a few months ago, and the writer knows him, and he is as game to go. And that's a comedy. That's going to be a riot. A producer and a recurring role in that. So that is going to be a riot. Shooting out on Long Island, substituting for Poland.
Yes. And any more?
Well, we have 100 Looks of Love.
Yes. And that little comedy that you did. You have a comedic film coming up.
I do. It's called A Lifesaver.
Yes.
That is a real character-driven piece about a fellow who's a little off the deep end, maybe a little balanced, and a chance encounter with a sort of a straight, odd little fellow, and they sort of wind up helping each other.
Yes.
And finding some guidance for each other.
Ah. And your cameraman gave wind to me that you actually also started your own clothing line, as I understand it. So.
I did. MG Frocks. I started off as political satire, very snarky, very sexy. And ventured off kind of a unique opportunity for kids' fashion. Did not know until I got into the clothing business that apparel in general is on the slump. But of course, everybody's got to buy new stuff for the kids, and that's the only area where everything's up. So I said, let's start a kids' clothing line. So I started the Triple Threat line. It's t-shirts portraying kids singing, acting, dancing, boys and girls, all with classic greats looking behind them. Whether it's Humphrey Bogart or Oliver Hardy or Patsy Cline, whatever the art is, that they all have Fred Astaire, everybody kind of applauding the kids learning their craft.
Nice. Very nice.